hopefully for the foreseeable future, is free for law schools and bar associations. I don't know how long we'll be able to maintain that, but and there's a lot of times, David referenced earlier, there are certain law schools who just don't have depressed students, and therefore they are turning away our free program. And as a result of many of our partnerships with you, particularly in states like Connecticut and Kentucky and Michigan and New Jersey, we have been able to gain access to schools that previously had no depressed students, but as a result of our relationships with the LAPs there, and also Minnesota, certainly Minnesota, have allowed us to partner. And I think that's one of the things that I want to say in terms of best practices is partnerships, not just between the LAPs and LCLs and the Dave Foundation, but also with the counseling centers on campus and with the deans of students. I think often there are times where people think, we can't share information, and certainly we're bound by certain confidentiality, but there's nothing to prevent a dean of students from calling LAP, or for you, calling the counseling center to say, I don't know if you're seeing the student, I know that you can't reveal that, but this is what the student is saying to me, what is the student saying to you? Or, I got a call from a concerned student about this person. So I think keeping in mind that we all have the same goal in mind, which is to make sure that the student gets the help that they need, that it's important that we're not necessarily concerned about where they're getting the help. It can be, and we have to keep that and see it from the student's perspective. There have been 5 times just this semester, and the semester's only really just started, where at the end of our presentations we have done interventions to get people counseling right there on the spot. And at one school I said, look, we've got the counseling center here and we've got the lawyer assistance program. What are you more comfortable with? And the student said, I don't have a car, the counseling center is walkable for me, so that's what I want to use. Others have said, I don't want to do it on campus, I want to go off campus and use the LAP. So I think being mindful of, as long as they're getting the help, that's what's important. A lot of the questions that we get is, okay, well, we're all excited to do this wellness program, and then we have 2 students show up, so, should we make the program mandatory? And we survey the students who come to our presentations and ask them whether or not they feel the program should be mandatory. And 77% of our attendees say that it should be mandatory. Many of them qualify that by saying, this is too important of a message to allow students to skip out on it. Some will say students won't come unless you make it mandatory. That said, having done a lot of mandatory presentations, I feel like right away I could be telling the students the answers to their final exam, but because they've been mandated to attend, they're really bitter about it, So I think there's, I think targeting an audience, talking, and I think another best practice is normalizing it. I often joke around that I taught at an all-girls Catholic high school, and right before the prom, we would do this big assembly about sex. Not that any Catholic students are having sex. And drinking. And as a faculty member, I'm like, do we think that these students are engaged in this behavior only around prom season, right? And so I think part of it is we need to, I love the wellness weeks and the wellness Wednesdays that other schools, some schools have practiced, but to create a culture of wellness, right? So that it's not something that is happening. So we normalize it. So it would be normal, just as normal as it is for a student to attend a program about how to get the best job, that is just as normal and encouraging for them to attend a program on wellness.